Namaste, everyone. Welcome to Movement and Miracles. My name is Megan Campbell, and I'm really excited to be back talking to you on the second video of our self-help burnout series and how you can avoid it. If you missed the first video on Are You Smothering Yourself, you can probably find it below, or if not, you can head over to the playlist button and just seek it out there. And ironically, as you seek out that video, it's exactly what we're talking about today. So Carl Jung kind of coined this idea that there were different parts of our psyche, different voices that we might hear. And the seeker is a really strong and powerful one. I find especially in this community, so the healing and helping, the yoga, spiritual tribes, seekers are powerful. And this is the part of our self or our psyche or ego that if we let it run the show all the time, it can actually push us into doing too much. It can push us into seeking too much. It can push us, if you watched the smothering video, into that place of all or nothing or extremes. And the seeker kind of sounds like the inner critic, perhaps. So this voice that is telling you that you're not good enough yet. So maybe you're already a yoga teacher and you think, I have to go out and take all these trainings and pay all this money, and you're seeking more and more knowledge. Ultimately, the voice behind it is really that you don't feel good enough or worthy enough. It can also sound like the part of yourself that is really a BFF with the seeker, same with the inner critic, is the pusher. And this is like the do more, the patriarchal voice of the energy and time, although it is shifting in a big way. But underneath, especially those of us in our 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, and the older that we are in this community, we'll hear the pusher probably really strongly because we have just more time spent in that do more, masculine, be more energy. And so the seeker isn't bad. I want to make sure that you're really clear on that. We all need a seeker. We all need a pusher. We all need an inner critic. They have a really important job to do and protect us in certain ways. And one of the ways that the seeker protects us is that it keeps us from being stagnant or blocked or stuck. So when we want to work with that part of ourself or that part of the aware ego, we understand that the seeker is asking us, okay, you've been doing this for long enough. You might feel a little stuck or bored or uninspired. And so you seek out something that's going to help fulfill and take you deeper into your spiritual practice or help you be a better yoga teacher or be a better mother or father or sister or brother, for example. The other thing that's really great about the seeker too is that the seeker can help us move forward and keep constantly evolving in our spiritual practice and in our lives. So we have mad respect for the seeker. You want to make sure that you understand that. But on the other hand, what happens a lot of times is that the seeker is taking over. So it's unaware. We don't even recognize or think about or understand that this part of us is actually pushing us or criticizing us or making us seek out so much that we go into these extremes. So some of the extremes that we might feel, for example, are, again, just doing too much. So I'm going to take this training and this training and this training. I'm going to read this book and this book and this book. I'm going to watch this movie and this program and so on, right? So we keep constantly trying to fill, but when we really stop, and we start to listen through our meditation, through working with a therapist who understands this type of inner voice dialogue, for example, we might start to understand that seeker voice better. And that's what I want to kind of encourage you to do is next time you feel like I need more, I want more, I've got to know more, take a moment to just sit, close your eyes, deepen your breath, and notice if there's a feeling, a deeper feeling underneath that, like unworthiness, for example. Get to know that voice a little bit more potently. The other thing you can do, second step, is know that there is always an opposite. And if we have no opposite, we have no balance, right? So the opposite of our seeker is our do nothing, or for me, our beach bum. So this year, as all of you know, I planned for years to take winter off, and I didn't get that time because of Lola's transition. And so in order to honor my inner beach bum, I've taken the last 6 weeks off, or a full 6 weeks off from teaching publicly. So I'm honoring my do nothing. And even these videos, if you notice, normally I send everything out on Monday, and this Monday I was like, no, I don't want to do anything. So I didn't. And we really need to give that part of our psyche and our self, who is just as important as the seeker and has just as much to teach us, some time to really show up and be present too. Or again, we fall into these extremes. So I recommend, if you haven't watched the last video on Are You Smothering Yourself, that you go back and watch that, and all this will start to make even more sense. But really pay attention to these two things. Notice when you're seeking out more or when you're seeking something, and have an inner conversation with that. And then also, when and can you plan some time? Maybe it's an hour, maybe it's a day, maybe it's a month, who knows what your schedule is like, but to really honor your do nothing each and every day or week or month. I highly recommend those 2 tips to avoid self-help burnout and stay on the path of health and happiness, especially inwardly, rather than always seeking it externally. So I hope that helps, and have a most amazing week, tribe. Sending lots of love. Namaste.